Damn it, Oda, what are you doing now? Please don't tell me this is some kind of brain transplant into another body or something. Please tell me this is some kind of robot or some kind of clone with the personality or whatever. Yeah, it's me, the angry and offended despair viewer. And this is the One Piece chapter recently. So 1061. First of all, a big giant metal shark is attacking the crew. A shark with a heat-messing missile inside its mouth. Very reminiscent of those animals that attacked Frankie back in the future island of Katakuri or whatever. And, well, it makes sense because this island here is called Egghead Island. An island that is said to be 500 years advanced into the future. Now that is kind of exciting. The devil producers of Luffy, Bonnie, Chopper all get capsized in the water. And who is saving them? Well, Jinbei. He is officially the helmsman of the crew, but if you ask me, he is going to eventually be mostly known as the Devil Fruit User Saver. Because after all of the Devil Fruit users, except of course Robin, has a very idiotic tendency to always end up in water. And who better to save them than someone who can not only breathe in water, but is also the fastest in the water? Because that's a very interesting theory. Except the Devil Fruit users, I wonder how the would say who is the fastest underwater. And I dare to say that Jinbei should be the fastest because he is the fishman. But I also think that Sanji is a clear second. Oh well, either way, the robot mecha shark, as it's called, gets stopped by a giant robot whose design looks very likely as Frankie Shogun, which also makes sense given the fact that Frankie based a lot of that robot on the designs he found on the island of the future, which was based on all the designs that Vegapunk left behind. Of course, this robot looks a lot cooler and a lot cleaner. Then we're switching off to a marine base where we meet a new waifu, Vice Admiral Doll, who is not so empathetic, even though she is dressed like a punk girl and everything like that. She is being annoyed to Tashigi that Helmeppo is crying out for well, Kobe and everything. And it makes sense, Kobe is his best friend, so why wouldn't he cry out? And yes, we do see Tashigi and the Punk Hazard kids revealing that they are taking medicine that supposedly are beginning to shrink them down a little bit. We don't know if that is true, but it would be actually very well if this arc ended with the Punk Hazard kids back into the original size. I do wonder though if they're gonna run into the Strats, but I don't think so because they're in a marine base, they are not on Egghead Island. Then we get to the only real exciting part of this chapter, and that is the introduction of Sword. Finally we get some more members. Helmeppo is revealed to be a Sword member, which is good. Actually, it made sense, and we're just glad it's confirmed to be true. Because, well, Kobe is his best friend, Kobe was a member of Sword, so it would kind of be upsetting if Helmeppo was not. We also meet a very cute girl who I already like, named Hibari, who talks very strangely. I don't really know how to describe her way. She is ranked commander, which means she's higher than Helmeppo. In a pretty sad twist, Helmeppo is the lowest ranked marine commander there. I mean, of the higher ranker. He is lieutenant commander. Hibani is a commander, and she is so cute. Then we meet Prince Gus, who is a rear admiral, the same rank that X-Drake held, and he's also a member of Sword. Then we see three very muscular men with barely anything to cover them, and a girl with a stick weapon. You know, the first time I saw her, she reminded me of that Ensign girl from Ace's cover story. But then I realized, no, it's not her, because that Ensign was not canon, so she would not be there, which I felt was very wasteful. She looked like a very interesting character to be canon in. Another thing I noticed with the Sword is that a lot of them seem to not like to be dressed so much. Because now Drake, Kobe, well, when his jacket is open, Prince Gus, and now these three muscular men, They all seem to have a habit of exposing their chests, their highly muscular body. And it's revealed that we have actually seen Gus before. I just didn't recognize it, but he is actually from the cover story of Beige. So yeah, there was a point of Beige having that cover story. It was to introduce to Prince Gus and his goons here. He's against traveling to Full-Lead Island, or Hachinoso, because it's literally a beehive island. Hachinoso. Many holes, many pirates. Even Sword cannot get by there. Helmeppo asks if they can land a Seraphim, but Prince Gus still tells them to chill out. They haven't heard anything from Drake, so they cannot move out yet. I mean, it's good that someone is being a little bit emotional control here, but I'm actually agreeing with Helmeppo. Kobe is his best friend. He must be saved. But what worries me is when Prince Gus says that he has not heard anything from Drake. And we all know that Oda wasted Drake's character a lot in the Wano Kuri arc. And now I'm deeply worried. What happened to him? Last time we saw him, he lay down on the floor, alive, and then Hawkins appeared and seemingly died. So what I'm trying to ask is, did Drake succumb to his wounds? Did he get captured by Green Bull? Because remember, Green Bull supposedly arrested every single beast pirate there. We don't really know if the other crew considered Drake a beast pirate member then. Or did he somehow get away? If he had got away, why hasn't he contacted Sword? I'm just wondering. We'll have to see him then. Then we see Bonnie's crew. Bonnie's the group of Luffy and Bonnie. They're on a crew seaside where they are, draining out the water in their clothes. And by the way, Bonnie is doing that while completely being topless, even though she is turning so we don't see her boobs. Not so much shameless in the fan service. She of course says that she is a bit upset that Luffy do not recognize her, but it is Luffy. He doesn't recognize a single bit of his supposed rivals. Of course, Bonnie and no one of the other world generations are even close to his league. Yes, Kid and Law are the only one I recognize as strong, but I still believe that they are even close to his level. So Bonnie asks about that one the poster, and Luffy just says, I just look that way when I'm free, which is vague, but in a way it is true. It's the ultimate freedom, Devil Fruit. We don't know how Bonnie ended up here, although she does say that she came here alone on a ship and then that Mecha Shark ate it up. So, last time we saw her, she was in Marijoa. And it's implied that she was the one who was trying to murder St. Charles, the world noble. Although that's not confirmed yet either. So what I'm trying to say is... why is she here? Well, she's seeking Vegapunk to give Vegapunk a piece of her mind. And that makes sense, because for some reason, that is still not revealed to us, mind you, she has a connection to Kuma. And Kuma was turned into a pacifista by Vegapunk. Not to mention the fact that Vegapunk erased Kuma's personality. So Bonnie is very likely here to either one, find a way to reverse that engineering, or she is here to kill Vegapunk for revenge for everything else. And if she is here to kill, I don't think she will succeed. Bonnie's Devil Fruit is dangerous. We will likely get the name of it this arc. But Bonnie herself, I still don't think she is that strong. At least not yet. And then the chapter ends in the biggest controversial thing of it all. The giant robot picks up the Sunny, and the hatch opens. And a young woman who speaks like an old man, actually been confirmed in the previous chapter, mentions that she didn't program the Mecha Shark completely, that it was actually seeking and finding, not devouring, because the basic instinct of it all. And she makes it clear to Frankie, who thanks her for saving them, that she wasn't there to save them. It is also worth noting that her goggles looks very similar to those goggles of the Revolutionary, especially Limber. There has been so many theories, or even hopes, that Vegapunk is connected to the Revolutionary. And while I have hoped that is to be true, it's the ending of this chapter that I don't like. Because then the girl takes off her face, looks a lot like the design of Uta, by the way, in a skin-tight one-suit, revealing herself to be a humble but genius scientist, and the name is Dr. Vegapunk. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Uda. You can't keep doing this to us. That cannot be Vegapunk, because Vegapunk has been stated numerous times, even that cameo in the anime, mind you, to be a man, an old man for that. So who the hell is this girl? Well, there are 3 theories on who this is. 1, this is Vegapunk. Yes, his brain transplanted into a girl. I mean, we don't see her forehead, so we don't see the scars. And I hope that's not the case, because I don't want an ultra-humanite-like ability of switching bodies and switching genders, something like that. Or like that one from Jujutsu Kaisen. 2, this is a robot, because Egghead Island is noted to be 5,000 years in the future. And a lot of theorists about those Nekomata, or whatever they were called, those robot things from the moon, whatever. So, and it's also worth noting that this girl here has a mark on her swimsuit, suit that says PH2, which means that she is ranked 2. Or 3, this is a Vegapunk clone, an opposite Vegapunk clone. Because we all know that Vegapunk discovered the lineage factor. We all know that he somehow managed to create the Seraphim, who, while definitely having pacifista technology into them, still has Lunarian DNA and also the DNA of the Shibukai, which means that Vegapunk can clone people. So if this is a clone of Vegapunk, just an opposite sex clone, then that makes sense. Cloning himself would probably mean that that person would have his intelligence. I mean, granted, we don't know how Vegapunk can erase personality, or even if personality can get back into people. But if Vegapunk can clone themselves and into different people, different genders, even different races, and then somehow download the memories and everything else, then this girl technically is Vegapunk, just not the original Vegapunk. A clone Vegapunk, with the same personality and mind. If Vegapunk could do that, I mean, imagine the achievements. Having someone who has the exact same intelligence as him, and if he can do that in different races, I mean, that would be an achievement. So I really hope this is not the real Vegapunk who somehow has turned into a woman, because I don't really want that kind of stories. Vegapunk was stated to be an old man, and we need to see the original design before everything else. But so a pretty controversial end of the chapter. But at least we have seen members of Sword, and that is good. So give me a fuss if you have any.